Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How are you today? Today, we are here to be talking about the digital world. How do you lead in the digital world? To come to a little background, we've been talking since the month of January on goal management. And we are talking about goal management in turbulent times. And today, we are covering one of the three Ds of the Vuca world, which I say is Vuca D3 world. Vuca has been in vogue for quite some time, and it stands for, and I think all of you know it by now, uh, it stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world that we are in. And I have added these three Ds to say VUCA D3 world. And the three Ds I've added are diverse, disruptive, and digital. So today we are talking about digital world, and we are going to see how you as a leader, and even if you say I don't have a team, I don't lead people, still understand that you are a self leader. And therefore, it is important that we understand how do we manage to go through this world which has become so digital, right? So that's what we are going to be talking about. And before that, let me just see who all are there. I don't see any comments, so I can see some people. If you can just say hi in the comments, it will be very nice to see how many people are there. And if you have any questions around how to lead in the digital world, I'll be very happy if I can have some people respond to this, write their names, or say something which shows us your presence, and I'll be very, very happy. Yeah, so we are now talking about the digital world. So can I have some people? I don't see any comments coming up, any names coming up, any questions, any remarks, comments, observations, anything. Come on, guys, don't be shy. Yes, Sadhna is there. Sadhna is there. Omi Savant is there. So nice of you. Jai Hind, Commander Sadhna Giri. Sadhna Giri is really a very great personality. Being from the Indian Navy, she's also a pageant queen. She's been a beauty queen, Mrs. India. So really happy to see you here, Sadhna. Thank you very much. I also see Omi Savant and Vinay Pillai. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah. And I would like you to participate. I would like you to tell me a few things that you feel. You share some ideas on what we are going to talk so that it becomes a two-way process and we are not getting into a monologue. I just hate this monologue. Okay, so now what we are going to be talking about is how do you lead in this world which is digital? Now, when we are talking about this digital world, what does it really mean? What are we talking about the digital part? So let me explain a little that from a very, very simple angle, I want to first read the back cover of my book. So just to show you, this is the book $1,000,000 Second, which is my very proud achievement. And I'm going to read out. And by the way, it has been endorsed by Brian Tracy, who says Sushil has developed a wonderful system of goal setting. And by the way, I'm doing a goal management workshop this or masterclass this Saturday, and time management that will transform your life and double your income. It is amazing. That is what Brian Tracy says. And what I'm going to read out is the back cover of my book, which makes it so relevant to the subject today. So I'm reading this out. How do you respond to crises that cannot be predicted or prepared for in advance? How does one manage time in a world where technological disruption and micro short attention spans have made most timetables, time management theories, and practices redundant? The best minds have already declared time management thinking a relic of the past. Welcome to the brand new science of time investment, which sees the world as a place prone to constant disruption, uncertainty, and unpredictability, where split-second missed chances prove fatal for individuals, teams, and companies. And timely responses can yield $1 million. Are you prepared? So I want to ask you guys, are you all prepared? Are you finding yourself challenged or are you prepared? And we have also seen in the recent pandemic times that people uh, who were, just a second, I think this name is continued. So let me take this out. Yeah, okay. I also see Kamal Mehta there, and thank you, Muhammad Ali Shah. He is here. My very good friend, a wonderful speaker and an actor, TEDx talk multiple times. Thank you very much, Ali, for coming. Okay, so I was just saying that in the pandemic, we have seen how technology came to our rescue. You saw that even at the national level, let's say, what the Modi government had done for this country, if didn't have that all people having a bank account, we wouldn't have been able to pay our maids, our drivers. We would not have been able to do much of what happened in the pandemic because we were digitally advanced now. So, coming back to understanding a little more about what are we talking about when we talk about digital disruption, we talk about leaders in this digital area or a digital world and what do they do. So, the digital technologies they call for leadership that emphasizes on three things which I'm very fond of. One is creativity, the second is collaboration, and third is inclusivity. Now, leaders who know that the digital technologies have to be taken care of, or can you take advantage of them? They emphasize on these three qualities, and I'm again saying creativity, collaboration, and inclusivity. Now, since the digital technologies are changing everything else, how could they not change leadership? Their ideologies, their styles, they all have to change because the environment is changing. This reminds me of a seminar that I had attended. It was an inter college debate, and after that, there was a seminar in which I still remember that there were about 12 options of the types of leaders the students would like to have. And there was a voting, and majority of the votes came for a digital leader. And let me tell you, at that point of time, and it's good about 10 years ago, I did not really have a perspective of what a digital leader was. And that day, I got to know a little bit, and then I came and studied the subject to understand what do they mean when they say that today's young people are looking for a digital leader. And what I understood was that these are the leaders who embrace technology, who encourage technology, and even when they may not be themselves so engrossed in it or so competent in it, they encourage the young people, they support them, and they allow them experiments, they allow them risk taking, and they encourage technological innovations that can bring about a customer comfort that is really good. So now what we need to look at is that a leader needs to leverage the future of the digital today, which means you have to look at how is technology advancing, what is the trend, what is the trajectory, and can I be always ahead of this predictability curve? Can I be prepared for the future? Whatever I can predict, whatever are the options I have, do I start working on them now? Because if you start working on them when things happen, you may be too late. So you really need to experiment with these exciting and innovating prospects, and leaders now have the power to redefine their industry. Redefine the industry because there is so much happening in the technology world. There's so much that you can foresee because of technology, that you have to allow people to, as I said, run experiments with new ideas. And implementing a digital initiative is more than just adopting technologies. Actually, it is bringing about a technological culture. I'm very particular about this culture part, because what happens is when you set up traditions, you set up customs, then people are more akin to, or they are ready to absorb the technology in a way that it becomes a part of your life. It's your culture, it's your traditions, your code of conduct, etc. So people then start living technology as a general, as a routine part of what is happening in their organization, right? So now, when we are talking of all this, we must understand that innovations need to be a part of your culture. And when consumers are transforming so fast, how can you be left behind? So, what do leaders do? What do digital leaders really do? Firstly, I think the leaders need to set a vision for themselves, for the company. And in that vision, the digital growth, the digital development has to be an integral part of the vision. The second is that the leaders need to uh, be influencers, and they need to influence all the stakeholders with the technological advancement, so that they can match up with the customers' aspirations, which are also increasing by leaps and bounds. Now, just because of technology, see, that things start reaching you home. The logistics industry, the supply chain management has grown in such a way that you can order something on Amazon, it reaches you within a very short period of time. And if you don't like it, you can return it and look at the reverse logistics. And all this happens seamlessly because of the technological advancement. The consumer has also become so comfortable that if you really see, uh, ordering on Amazon, uh, or let's say getting out of your house and ordering an Uber to go to your office, looks like a normal part of your life, privileges that you think you always had. But come to think of it, 10 years back, all this didn't exist. So that is the way things have advanced. And if you are in a company not attuned to doing all this, you would be left far behind, right? So there was a company, incidentally, you may have heard of it, called Burberry, which is a fashion company in London. And this company was not performing very well in the early 2000s, 2001, 2002. That is the time when they were not performing, while the rest of the fashion industry was growing at about 12 to 13% per annum. They were growing just about 1 to 2%. And then they realized what was going wrong. They were not technologically keeping pace with the world. They immediately got to understand, and within 2 to 3 years, they changed everything. Now, if you walk into a Burberry store, your experience would be the same as you would see in the website. And if in the website, when you go, you will suddenly be taken and transported into a visual fashion show going on, and you will see the latest fashions. And they're basically very famous for trench coats, or you'll see their leather craft and all that will happen. So what they really did was they overturned their technology, the digital experience that they were giving to their customers, and that really made a difference. Incidentally, during COVID, I had a client whose jewelry company in India, and they had never really speaking exploited uh, digital world, in the sense they were not publicizing themselves so much digitally, nor were they able to sell digitally. And after we did a couple of programs and they understood, and when they found that the shops were closed and the goods were not going to sell in shops, they had to innovate and bring about technology and make their company digitally comfortable to be able to sell jewelry online. So I've seen these changes, experienced them, and that is where leaders who have that vision can do it. You also, as a good leader, must hire the competent people who are digitally comfortable, competent, and who can uh, understand the consumer requirement, give them that type of comfort, and keep innovating as you go along, because whatever you do today may not be comfortable enough, or may not be amazing enough tomorrow, right? You also have to set your processes in a manner that they are absolutely updated with the latest technology, with the latest aspirations, and meet the requirement. And then with all this, you have to track the impact, that whatever you are doing, is it impacting or not? And what can you do to make the impact better, right? So, a good leader, digital leader, what does he do? He leads, he inspires, he educates, he enables, he empowers, and he fosters uh, partnerships and collaboration. And that is how we need to be a digital leader right now. So that's all I had to say today on the digital leadership. And now I want to look at any other questions or any comments by anyone. Nice to see you, Suman. Thank you very much. And let me say what you're saying. Our vision is passion for digital experience. Wow, that's good. Which company is this? CEO HR Technology. Okay, good. So that's a good input from you. Uh, Very good. Okay. And again, that's a good one. Intelligence is common, visionary is rare. Okay, that's very nice. So, Suman, it was nice to see your comments. But now that you are involved in this, can you just give us about 2 to 3 bullet points on what have you done in your company to bring it to a digital level? So here he says Uva Digital, which I guess is the company's name. And I'm looking forward to, Suman, you're coming out with 2 to 3 bullet points of what have you done in your company that has really made a difference in the way you have adopted technology. Yes, that is what I'm asking. How do we adapt to changes quickly? Yeah. So let's see if you can enlighten us with that. In the meantime, anyone else who has any questions, comments, observations, can I please have them in your chat? I'm really, really happy to see these uh, responses coming up now. And I'm looking forward to more of them. Okay, thank you very much, Suman. I think you've been very cooperative and you've responded very well. So, first is connecting technology with humans. So, guys, you can also connect with Suman to know more, and I think he's got some very, very good ideas on this subject. He's experienced, and that is making it good. The second one he's saying is that we partnered with healthcare company to support COVID-19 patients remotely. I think it's patients, which he said patients. So I guess it is patients. So we partnered with healthcare companies to support COVID-19 patients remotely. Isn't that wonderful? I think you really need a big applause there, Suman. Thank you very much. So that's nice. So any other questions, comments? Looking forward to something And if there's nothing else coming, then I'm going to close. But I do want some more comments, some more observations, questions to come up. Yeah, so Suman has corrected that, and my guess was right. He meant patience. Yeah. Okay. So now I told you the other day that just one second. Yeah. I have a question for you. And the question is, what are you doing to prepare yourself for leading in the digital world and achieving your goals? Now, this is very important. We must. So, I want this question to be answered. If some of you can answer now, it will be great. But otherwise, those who will see the recording or in your own time, please answer this question. What are you doing to prepare yourself for leading in the digital world and achieving your goals? I'd also announced a prize, and that is I'm going to dish out three. Uh, and just give me a second. Yeah. So, this is my goal setting reflective journal, and it gives you a lot on how to write your goals. And I've done something which is totally for the digital, for the COVID environment and for the current situations. So I will be dishing out three of these e-copies to those participants of all the four platforms, which is LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Instagram I do on Tuesdays and Fridays, whereas other three platforms we do together on StreamYard on every Monday and Thursday. Okay, so someone says lead by strategic plan. Second, he says is build smart way of achieving goals. That'll be nice, someone to know from you what are the smart ways of achieving goals, and particularly in this environment, which is totally challenged because of uncertainty and could also be uh, in. Sorry, I was saying we are challenged for uh, the uncertainty, and we also have a lot of digital capability right now. And if it is not for the digital capability of things like Zoom and all, imagine what could we have done in the lockdown. I'm very happy to see now Sajid Kumar coming up. Should corporate step should corporate step into help the government? Of course, they must. I think there's without any doubts, and I think they have to some extent. But yes, I agree, more should be done. So yes, because see, government on its own uh, has has some limits of what they can do, and I'm not trying to defend anyone, but the government has done quite a lot, but lots more could be done. And I think when we face a crisis, which is a national crisis, then I don't think anyone should be uh, shying away from putting in his efforts, because that is what we need. I have Suman coming up with the third point, and that inspire team to follow your vision. Yeah, so I talked of inspiration, innovation, I talked of empowering, influencing. That is what a leader has to do. All of this put together. Yesterday, I was listening to a very, very um enlightening video by Keith Farazi on leadership, and it was truly, truly empowering, particularly talking about the current environments. And he, of course, this was on the um, Mind Valley program. So very nice. It was very interesting. Okay, so Suman is asking me. He's corrected later. BSB. What is your advice to face tough times with your experience in defense? Thank you, Suman. Very good question. See, I'll tell you something very, very peculiar. That leadership, as Marshall Goldsmith says, is a contact sport. And it is quite surprising that people may not know that in army particularly, it's absolutely a physical thing, isn't it? It's absolutely a contact sport. It's absolutely like offline stuff. But do you know that whenever we go into war, we are never in contact with our troops? Because if you are a battalion commander and you're commanding a battalion which may be spread over 8 to 10 kilometers, you as a commanding officer will be dealing with people in all that confusion in a physical space which is spread over 6 to 8 to 10 kilometers. How do we do that? So we have been controlling and leading remotely, and we have used no technology there. I mean, technology of a very, very old style, that you are using radio telephony and you are using signal communication, which is cables laid down, thing like that. So we have been so uh, sort of outdated in that. But we have our systems and processes set in place that even in war, where things are so fluid, changes are happening, we have been having our communication systems and our processes. So the emphasis on using the current systems and processes which can enable you to communicate with your teams, to inspire them, to get them moving, motivate them, and make them do the task that they are required to do. So that is how I would say that we face tough times. And of course, there's much more to this when it comes to defense. We are, there is so much of training that goes on to handle situations which we have never predicted. And they say that army can do all types of planning, and we do it. We do meticulous planning before we go to war, but all those plans survive only till the contact with the enemy is made. And when the contact with the enemy is made, the chaos starts. And then all our training is about handling chaos. We have to build a culture of volunteering so that people are prepared during a crisis. Absolutely. And I think that is one thing which I've been talking about. And there's a friend of mine called Colonel Manoj Sinha who talks a lot on this subject of counterinsurgency. And I'd heard him talk in a very, very emphatic manner about what happened in Mumbai in 2008 when the terrorists attacked us. If something like this was to happen in Mumbai, God forbid, I think the situation will still be same, because nothing happened after that where we have not been able to bring about a spirit of learning from our mistakes or from our experiences and bringing processes. I don't know of any process in Mumbai which will make the public, I'm not talking about the government, what will the public do better this time is a question which all of us can guess. Thank you, Suman. Thank you for that. I really love that sentiment. And really speaking, I'll tell you, if I represent the defense forces, we just love to hear that, because many times we feel that we don't get the type of, the heroes are considered only on the silver screen. The actual heroes don't, they get so forgotten. But anyway, it's not the time to seek your empathy and sympathy. But anyway, so thank you very much for that sentiment, Suman. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have finished. I think we've gone a little long. I normally try to finish by 20 minutes, but we are already at 30. And thank you for the interactions, because the interaction makes it more interesting. Thank you very much. Every Monday and every Thursday, I talk on this, and next Thursday, I'll be talking on disruptive world. We have already spoken on uh, we'll talk about the diverse world. We have spoken on diversity. We have spoken on digital, and now we'll talk on diversity. So come prepared on Thursday 5 o'clock to listen to this. Also please write your questions so that we can, if I know prior to coming here that if there are any questions in areas that you would like me to talk on, I could cover them. I will cover the same thing what I've spoken today tomorrow on Instagram at 7 p.m. And all those who have friends or you want to come and listen again, contribute, please come on Instagram at 7 o'clock. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Suman. Thank you very much. We'll love to connect with you on LinkedIn or otherwise, and please do that. So, all those who are interested in going further and understanding how to manage or achieve their goals, please contact us. We have some masterclass coming, and we'd like to invite all those who are interested in goal management with more information and details on the upcoming programs on this. Thank you very much. Bye bye, and God's bless.